Hi, I'm Chris. In this video, I'm going to show you how to quickly create an environment within Unity using just the standard assets and a terrain generation script. I should say that this is based off a resource I found on Squawk. I will include information and links in the description. Basically, I converted it to JavaScript, added support for bump maps, um, several different things like that. Um, so let's get started. I've already got all the assets I need imported in here just to save time on editing the video. Um, but what you're going to do is import the assets we need first. So we're going to want to import characters and environment. And once that's imported, we can start adding some things into our scene. Let's go to first person character controller, prefabs, and I'm going to use the rigid body. It has a camera, so make sure we delete this first camera out of the scene. We don't need that. This one has one. And let's go to environment, water, water 4, prefabs, water 4 advanced. Next, we're going to add in a 3D object wind zone to add some nice wind to the scene later when we see it. And what else here? I think that's about it. So let's go ahead, create an empty object, and we're going to attach our terrain script to this. You can name it whatever you want. And basically you just have to fill in the blanks. So attach the water object. This is used within the script to set a sea level variable. So let's look at, click on water advanced object and set its Y position to 30. That's going to put it a little bit above the base of the terrain and allow for like a little underwater area. And let's go ahead and set the rigid body position as well. We're going to push him up above the terrain in kind of a random position just so he doesn't start below the water or below the terrain. I'm going to edit the collider settings, make it a little more realistic, and you can set up this stuff however you like. This is all a matter of preference. Alright, that's all set. Let's go back to the terrain generation script and set some more of these variables. It does support custom height maps, custom terrain materials. I'm not going to look at any of that right now, maybe in another video. Let's look at the splat textures. These are basically the textures, graphical textures that are rendered onto the terrain. So we're going to go to the environment, terrain assets, surface textures. Splat 0, first one, will be the cliffs. Second one will be the grass. Third one will be your water basin. And the fourth one is the tips of the terrain, like snow caps. This snow is a custom texture that I made. That one was not included in the standard assets. You could also do like muddy rock or something like that. I'm going to use snow for now. It does support bump maps. The only one we have is muddy rock. I'm going to put that on there just for testing purposes. Let's set the tiling, make them a little larger. Detail is the grass textures. The fern one is actually from the old standard assets from Unity. I just imported that in separately. These ones come in with the environment that we imported. Let's set up some trees. This is a unlimited array, so you can have as many trees there as you want. I'm going to set them using these speed tree assets. Just drag and drop those. And then we have a few variables here. The frequencies control the pattern of placement. So if it's low, it's going to be more dense. If it's high, it's going to be more wavy, more sparse. And these are pretty good. I'm going to lower the terrain height a little bit. Tree volume, less is more in this case, I think. Lower it is, the more trees. Object density, let's say detail, object distance. That's how far away the grass will render from the camera. If that's too high, it'll slow down your game. I think 500 is probably a reasonable number. Let's see. A lot of this stuff is just, again, a matter of preference. I'm going to set some of the grass colors real quick. Keep it neutral so it doesn't change the actual texture color very much. So that's all good. That's about done. That's about it for our core objects, at least. Let's take a look at lighting. If your lighting panel isn't open, go to Window, Lighting, and I'm going to set a skybox. I've loaded in several custom ones. Some of these are free ones you can get off the asset store. I'm going to use this one. It's from the old Unity standard assets, and I like it a lot. Let's set the color, ambient color for the scene, and let's turn on fog. Give it a fairly low float value for the density, otherwise the whole scene will just appear foggy. And set that to a color that's kind of similar to our skybox. And I think that's about it. Modify the wind zone. It might probably a little, there we go, lower that a little bit. Save the scene if you'd like. You don't have to worry about the build setting because it's the default scene here. So let's just run it and see what happens. It's going to take a second. It's pretty large terrain. And here we go. Now you can see the underwater area. There's no, obviously no shaders or effect for that yet, but that's why we pushed it up to the value up to 30 early on. So yeah, I think that's about it for this video. Hopefully I didn't miss anything important. I think this is a really handy way, especially for the indie developers out there, to help them just quickly and easily set up a scene, at least a good starting point. You can always go back in later, add camera effects, add particle effects, all sorts of things like that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.